Can you hear? Is anyone having problem with audio? Can you write? If you can hear, please write me like everything is okay, then I'll just continue. Okay, fine then. Okay, yes, sir. You have problem with audio still, yes? No audio issue. Only one student is having problem with the audio issue. Okay, fine. Then we can go on. Okay, I'm just showing you some of the books we published and I authored and co-authored. You can find them in Amazon and Google too. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Sundar Velu, thank you. We'll continue anyhow. Okay, I also edited one of the very famous books for FMG. This is the QRS from where 160 questions came. Anyhow, these are some of my students. Actually, we had too many students, and there were more than 2,000 toppers from our institute since 2010. And you can find our testimonials in our website if you need. So I don't need to go into too much of detail to explain all the students and all the people who are toppers in our institute. Okay, just wanted to show one more student of mine. He is Dr. Adam, and he scored 237 in 2019. And he was the second highest scorer in all India. And he's my student. He has been learning from us since his first year. Okay. Just hold on 1 minute. I'm just checking something. Just 1 minute. Because some students are messaging still that they are unable to hear. Just give me 1 minute, okay? Okay. Just 1 minute. Fine. We can go on. So you can see my video also. Okay, I'll just give you the plan, what I'm going to explain today. So it is like shown over here. So the first thing I'm going to explain a little bit about what are the fundamentals or the key reasons of the dropping academic efficiency among foreign students in universities abroad. So this is the first thing and the foremost thing I'm going to discuss. And the second thing, there are some problems and I'm going to give some ideas to cope up with this dropping academic efficiency. So how we are going to cope up with the academic efficiency, that's going to be the second part. And the third thing I'm going to explain about some special class what we are providing in order to cope up with all these deficiencies and to pass the FMGE within 60 days with the least effort. And the last part I'm going to show about a little bit about faculties. But the main discussion is going to be about FMGE and some FMG hacks that people usually don't share. And I'm willing to share the secrets that I share with my students. And I also want to share one good news from my students. 5 of my students from China actually got seats in P.G. They got really good seats. And 2 of my students also already passed like PLAB and they joined the job there in England. So let's start with the webinar. So let's go into detail. Can you see this? If I'm not audible or if you cannot understand anything, if I'm going a little faster, then you can just message over here. If everything is fine, please message me. So let me explain. So regarding the pass percentages, so let me put the screen in this side. So you are aware that more than 20 institutes are available right now in India and abroad for coaching for FMG. Yeah, okay, thank you. So what about the students who are joining in various FMG institutes? Actually, according to one statistics, they are saying that more than 80% of the students join the institute in one or the other time. At least one time, even multiple times, but at least 80% of the students are joining the coaching institutes. Even though there are more than 20 coaching institutes in India, but overall pass percentage of FMG, even with the multiple attempts, is lesser than 25%. So you should understand there's something fundamentally wrong, that we have enough coaching centers, we have a lot of good students with sound knowledge, but still they are unable to clear FMG because the overall pass percentage is below 25%. So we should start thinking that there should be something fundamentally wrong. So what are these issues actually students facing right now that they are unable to clear the FMG? So let's go into the next slide. So these are the key reasons for the dropping academic efficiency among foreign students. What are these 3 reasons? So let me divide these reasons into like 4 categories. First thing is called as curriculum gap. What is curriculum gap? You know that once you join any foreign university, they are going to have their curriculum appropriate to their country. Because normally the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health, they give the guidelines to each medical university to state or to formulate the curriculum. So they usually formulate the curriculum to fit their country or the international standards. There's nothing wrong about it. But what is the issue? For example, if you think about PSM would be having, let's talk about one very important part of PSM. The PSM is very high yield subject. All of you know that. More than 10% of the questions in FMG come from PSM, about 30 to 35 questions. And you know that the infectious disease or contagious diseases, they actually constitute the main part of the question. They are about 10 to 15 questions. And you know that the questions are pertinent to India. They are not pertinent to China or Russia. The questions will be about the infectious disease. For example, it can be about dengue, it can be about malaria, but the questions are pertinent to Indian states, not about foreign countries. But if you go abroad, they are going to teach you PSM because this is one of the important subjects, but they are not going to teach the part pertinent to India. So there's a gap which have to be filled. And if you don't understand that there's a gap, there's a curriculum gap, then you're going to lose a big part of knowledge, which is very essential to clear this FMG in PSM. This is applicable to many other subjects, but I'm just telling you what is the most suitable subject. I hope you understand. Okay, discussing about lack of updated study material. All of you know that most of the questions, at least 90% of the questions are coming from the latest updates in the medicine. They are not going to ask something very like, old one. But of course, possible they can ask some questions in history of medicine, but usually they ask questions connected to latest updates. So you should understand, once you are studying in India, usually the students are following the latest updated textbooks. But once you are studying in Russia or China, you should remember that most of the Russian universities are not providing textbooks in English. Even if they provide, of course, I know there are like 10, 15 universities that provide English books, but still they have very outdated versions. If you go to China, the same problem. More than 45 or 50% of students, for 50% of the universities are providing textbooks, but most of them are outdated. So there is a big need of students to acquire the updated study materials. This is very important because that you should understand that most of the questions are going to come from here, and you are lacking over here. The next part is insufficient guidance. So insufficient guidance, you can like think from two aspects. One thing that most of the students lack the learning strategy. And they lack strategy for self-assessment. They lack strategy for time management. So you should understand that you should have some kind of program or study plan to incorporate your university level studies and also to give the updates which is necessary for FMG. But if you don't have any kind of strategies, then you won't be able to incorporate them. And once you are reading any text or once you are reading any lectures, actually your brain will be tricking you to think that you studied everything. Whatever you studied is already perfectly etched in your brain. This is a pseudo feeling. It's a false feeling. And in educational psychology, we call it as illusion of competency. So your brain tricks you to think that you already grasped, comprehended, and understood whatever you studied. But in fact, once you are studying, there are going to be some gaps. These gaps are called as knowledge gaps. And they have to be filled up in order to crack your FMGE with first attempt. So you should understand there are some gaps, but you don't understand because you don't have quite a good strategy in order to assess yourself. And also, of course, time management. You know that most of you are like about 19 or 20, 21 years old. All of you are like very young, adolescent guys. So what happens, like, you have a lot of extracurricular activities. You have a lot of friends. There are a lot of like Netflix and Amazon series now. So you don't have enough time to study. So if you don't have a proper strategy to manage learning, self-assessment, and time management, it is going to give a big problem once you start studying for FMG. You're going to run out of time. This is one thing. Hi, can you hear Asi? So all those guys who joined later, like, like if you didn't happen to watch the initial part of this webinar, then you can watch them in YouTube. It will be like uploaded once it is over. So nothing to worry. Okay, I can continue. Lack of revision and practice. This is also a part of lacking the strategy of learning. You know that revision is very important, especially for FMG preparation. 3 revisions are needed minimum. And also you should keep on practicing tests. We will discuss about practicing tests a little later. And if you don't practice tests, then you're going to have problem in approaching the questions, time management, accuracy, or confidence. So once you don't have enough guidance, once you study abroad, you're going to lack the idea or strategy how to pass this exam. The last part is minimal exposure to the international type of exams. If you go to Russia, they have their format or style of exams. If you think about Russia and post-Soviet countries, they are running the exams through Viva. So they run exams in Viva wars, except for some subjects, they might be having some kind of MCQs. If you go to China, they have a different system. They have some MCQs, fill in the blanks, short questions, long questions, and definitions. Now, if you think about the FMG question, this is a computerized MCQ exam. So you should start to practice as early as possible in this type of pattern of questions or exams or tests. If you don't have an exposure to such type of software, then you will be having problem or hurdle in handling such a software or in the management of this software. So this is very important. So these are the key reasons of dropping academic efficiency. The number one is curriculum gap. Of course, all of you know this. And the second one is lack of updated study materials. And the third one is insufficient guidance. So you lack strategy in learning, self-assessment, and time management, lack of revision and practice, which is also included in this. The last part is minimal exposure to the international type of exam like FMG, which is very important too. Are you clear? Can I go to the next one? Are you guys clear? Can I continue now? Sure, you can write here. Okay, fine. Let me continue. So the next important thing what I have to explain you here is most of the people really study hard. They're using multiple materials, they're studying for more than 10 hours, but still, even they are unable to crack the exam with multiple attempts too. So there should be some hidden hurdle from where you should understand what should be corrected. So the very important thing that you should actually study smarter than studying harder. So I just want to I want to tell you a very, very important story from historical point of view. Most of the Chinese students would be knowing this guy. His name is Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu was a military strategist and general in the time of Eastern Zhou period. So this guy was actually employed by the emperor to overthrow the Mongol invaders. And he was a very skillful military strategist, and all the tactics what he was using, he compiled into a book called as Art of War. This book has been used right now in education, business, and politics, and also in war tactics. So what did he explain? You can see over here. If you know yourself and if you know your enemies, you don't need to worry about 100 battles. You will win it. But when you don't know about yourself, if you don't know about your opponent, then you won't be even able to win one battle. So you should understand here, you yourself, and who is your opponent? This is FMGE. So what you have to understand, you should understand about yourself, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what skills you have, what skills you are deficient here. And what do you think about the FMG? This is your opponent. So you should know everything about FMG. What is FMG? What is the pattern? What is the format? What is the trend chain? What is the software? How much time they are going to give per question? What is the total amount of time? If you know everything about FMG as opponent and you know yourself, then you will be able to combat in this situation and crack FMG with ease, without any problem at all. Yeah, if you have any problem, you can write. Yes. Okay, let me go into the next slide. So there are two keys that determine whether you pass or fail in FMG. So these two keys can be divided into two sections. The first section is about your psychological and learning profiles. So you should know that each FMG is unique. And you have your unique personality, you have your unique learning style, and you have your test anxiety or just anxiety. So you are unique. Your personality is unique. You are not like your friend. So you should understand that once you want to start preparing, once you want to start following a course, once you want to start choosing any type of study materials or aid, before that, you should understand what is your profile. Whether this class, can you hear? Yeah, okay, thank you. Whether this class or this learning pattern or teaching pattern is going to fit you. How to understand? First of all, you should understand about your psychological profile. You should understand about your learning style. you should understand the level of anxiety. What is the next thing you should know? This is the subject knowledge and examination skill. Of course, it's not just subject knowledge, knowledge about FMGE too. So first of all, you should know about everything about FMGE. This is called insight into the FMGE. What is the pattern? What is the format? The time duration? Yes, the software, everything. This is like learning your opponent. According to Sunset, I already told you, you should know about yourself and you should know about your opponent. Knowing your opponent is knowing your FMGE. Next one, knowledge per subject. There is no substitute for knowledge of the subject or knowledge per the subject. It is very important. You should know the theory, you should know the clinical application, you should know the practical application, and you should know how to imply your theoretical knowledge into exam situation. And next important thing is discrimination skills. So you should know how to approach the MCQ, how to manage the time, how to choose the answer, and the last part is very important, time management per question and overall in the FMGE. So if you know these two keys that determine whether you pass or fail in the FMGE, then you can really easily understand where you are lagging at, what you have to improve in order to pass FMGE. This is not quite difficult, I guess. Yes? Let me go to the next slide. So I usually get about 2 to 3 calls per day from students, mostly from China. And these students call me and they just ask me that, sir, I am really very good at biochemistry. I studied very well. I scored 90 plus marks in the final exam. But when I'm doing the FMGE test or like practice test or chapter-wise test, I am unable to score above 50 marks. So what is the reason? I'm really a good student, sir. So what do you think? What might be the issue? Actually, the issue here you should understand, when somebody is saying that they are really good, this is a very qualitative term. Then, if you want to understand how good they are in the subject, then you have to analyze them and understand how good they are. This is exactly some patient is coming and telling to you that they are healthy or they are diseased. You should understand from pathological point of view that when somebody is stating that they are diseased or they are healthy, this is a very qualitative term. So how to quantify this? You know that in physiology we have physiological variables or parameters. These parameters should be oscillating within the optimal range in order to keep you alive and functioning optimally. If these physiological parameters are going away from this optimal range, then we call it disease. For example, think about glucose level, or think about sodium level or potassium level. So exactly, we have some kind of diagnostic modalities. When a patient is saying that I'm diseased, then you can check and understand this patient is actually diseased. So we also developed a special tool. This is actually based in the artificial intelligence. We call it as DaVinci analytica. So actually we dissect out various aspects. The first part is your psychological profile. The second part is your learning style. The third part is about your subject proficiency. The last part is your examination skills, including the discrimination skills. So we understand what is your profile, whether you will be able to cope up, you will be able to read, what kind of material is needed. About learning style, then we also check what is your effective way of reading, what is your effective way of studying, and can you sit for quite a long time in a class, what kind of tests you are like good at, what you are not good at. So let's talk about subject proficiency. Here we will be running special tests to understand you are good at which subject, you are bad at which subject. And also we will be dissecting out into chapters and topics too. And also your discrimination skills will be dissected out here too. So I'll show you a sample over here. This is from one of the students who assessed himself. So you can understand we are analyzing the psychological profile. From here, we are understanding what is his psychological profile. In fact, he is a very good student, but he is unable to crack FMGE for past 2 times. Then he came to us, sir, I study good. I study all the textbook. And once you ask some question, he is able to answer. So what is exactly the problem? So we ran some kind of test here, and we understood what is his psychological profile and what is his anxiety scale. Now you can understand that why he is failing. His problem here is anxiety. So according to psychology, you should understand if you are doing any type of performances, it can be exam, it can be like bargaining, it can be like purchasing, anything. These are called as tasks or performances. If you are engaging any type of tasks, you develop some kind of anxiety which is necessary to complete this task successfully. This is called as performance anxiety. So you should understand, once you have little bit of anxiety, it is good for you. So when you have little bit of anxiety, what will be coming? This is going to activate your brain. Your vigilance increases. It is going to light up your prefrontal cortex, which is important for cognitive function. So in case you are doing any test, it is going to activate your prefrontal cortex, which is necessary for problem solving. But once the anxiety is disproportional and immense, what is going to happen? This is going to hamper your cognitive function. Technically, the disproportionate severe anxiety will be shutting down your prefrontal cortex. So what is happening to him according to our diagnosis? You can see his anxiety scale is quite high. It is about 4.7. 5 is the maximum and he has 4.7. This is very high and severe anxiety. Even though he is a very good student, but he is flunking whenever he is sitting for the exam. The reason behind this is very severe anxiety, which is shutting down his brain. And you can see we are checking the learning style, which is below. And guys, I'm not going to explain A to Z everything in this webinar because this is a short webinar. This is for about 40 minutes, probably maximum 1 hour. And all the in-depth details of FMG, how to approach FMG, and how to manage the time, they all are beyond the scope of this short webinar. So we are planning to do some kind of regular webinar once in a week in order to give you some kind of helping hand, yes, and to help you with coping up with all the deficiencies you have. I hope you understand. So I'm not going into the detail of the learning style now. Now you can see this is the subject proficiency. So in subject proficiency, we are dissecting out what the student knows in a subject. So there we are dividing chapters and we are checking whether they know how much is the knowledge, whether it is bad, it is average, or it is good. And we are also calculating the strength, what he has in this subject. And after that, we are checking their examination skills. For example, what type of MCQs he is approaching good, what type of MCQs he is approaching fast, what type of MCQs he is approaching bad, and what is the time management. After running this DaVinci analytics, I'm going to get a kind of graph on you. So what do I understand? Okay, this student is having this type of psychological profile. He has this learning preference, and he has this much of anxiety, and this is the subject proficiency. From this point of view, we make a special and customized study plan. Keep it in mind, guys. The regular study plan given by institutes don't fit your style of learning, don't fit your personality. Each of you are unique. You should understand, without checking the individuality, without checking the learning style, without checking the psychological profile or subject proficiency, if anyone is giving you any kind of study plan or teaching plan, it doesn't work at all. Little bit you should think. I'm just going to ask a very simple question. You are a doctor. Yes, you're good doctors. Most of you started working too. If a patient is coming to you saying that I have such and such complaints, you are going to start treating the patient with the drugs available at your doorstep or at your desk, or you are going to run some kind of diagnostics to understand what kind of disease he is having or the condition he is having. Then you are going to strategize some kind of treatment regimen. Which one is the correct one, you think? You have some kind of drugs, and a patient is coming to you. You are not running any kind of diagnostic, not lab, not instrumental, not physical diagnostics. You are just writing some kind of medicine because it is available at your desk. This is one option. And what is the second option? You are going to run special diagnostic. You are going to do some kind of physical diagnostics. You are going to take the full case history. You are going to run some other lab or instrumental diagnosis. And you come to a conclusion, okay, this patient is suffering from so-and-so disease. After that, you are going to strategize a plan to treat. This is the best way. This is the correct way of treating. Now, you should understand once you are going and joining in any institute, it can be XYZ. I'm not like, marking any institute, but I'm just saying generally, if you go and join any institute, you should understand they're going to put you in a batch without assessing who you are, without assessing your psychological profile, without assessing your learning style, without assessing what is your subject proficiency, the level of skills you have. 100 and 200 students are going to sit in the same classroom. You are going to listen to the same lecture. You are going to read the same study material that don't fit your style at all. So what do you understand from this point of view? I'm not blaming, but there should be a special tool to analyze you. So far in India, we are the only company having this tool. And I'm just showing you, and I already proved that many of my students got 200 plus, and many of them even got PG seats or like seats in USMLE and PLAB. This is not a rocket science. I'm not a magician. I'm not doing black magic. I'm just analyzing their proficiencies. We have the tool. After understanding the deficiencies, I'm customizing an individual plan, and he understands what is the exact issue with him. After that, he is going to replenish all the issues he has. He is going to patch up all the holes he has. Then he is doing it by himself. This is the very important thing. The main theme in our institute is learning how to learn. We are not merely giving a study material and asking these people to read. We are providing the knowledge, and we are making the students to know how to study. This is very important. Okay, let me go on to the next slide. I'll give you a little bit insights of FMG, which is very important. The coming two slides are $1 million slides for you guys. So keep it in mind. These are some of the secrets about FMG. Some are like very explicit, but still some hidden secrets are there. Some implicit ones are I'm going to show you. They are after the analysis from our experts. We analyzed the questions from 2002 to 2019, and we came to a conclusion, and we divided what type of MCQs are coming, and you should get ready to face what kind of MCQs. So let's go into inside of FMG. So the first and foremost point you should understand, this is a computer-based MCQ examination, and the scheme of syllabus is prescribed by MCI. So if you ask that, is it out of syllabus? From technical point of view, the questions are not out of syllabus, but they are from the updates. Probably you are not aware of. Okay, the next thing you should understand, there are 300 questions, and they give 1 minute per question. This is from theoretical point of view. So you're going to get totally 5 hours or 300 minutes because you're getting 1 minute per question. But in practical, you won't be able to use 1 minute per question because you will be having easy question, you will be having question with average difficulty, and you will be having very tough question where you have to give little more time. So according to the experts, not just me, there are many experts in our institute. They came to a conclusion, and they analyzed, and they came to the conclusion, and they are advising you, you should use 40 to 50 seconds per question, not more than that. If you go below that, you won't be able to read and come to a conclusion. So optimally, 40 to 50 seconds. Just remember 50 seconds. Okay, about responses or options. There are 4 options. Out of that, 1 will be the appropriate option. Other 3 will be distractors, which should be aware of. Do you have negative marking here? No, you don't have negative marking, which means if you make a mistake in one question, you don't get -1. You're going to get 0. If you don't mark the exam question, you're going to get 0 too. So one question will be given 1 mark. There is no negative marking. So each MCQ counts. So keep it in mind. Don't miss out any MCQs. You make sure that you mark all the MCQs. Each MCQ counts. Let me go to the next part. This is very important thing. So this might not be found in internet or any books, or usually people who know about this, they don't like to share because this is some kind of implicit stuff. So let me explain about this pattern of MCQs in FMG. So there should be actually 4 types, but I'm going to explain about first 3 because they are important for you. So let me go into the classification of type of MCQs and how they were distributed in previous exams and in current exam. What is the trend changing? What is the new pattern? I'm going to explain this part to you. Okay, so the first part is called as fact-based MCQs, or we call it simple recall MCQs, which means they ask a question based on a fact. You should use your recalling ability to find the answer whether it is correct or not. So right now, the distribution is about 60%. You should understand, if you think about FMG before 2010, the exam was paper-based exam, which means you used to get a printed paper and you used to mark the answers in the OMR sheet. In that time, there was no color print, so technically, they neglected the image-based questions. So if you think about the distribution before 2010, fact-based simple questions were of 90%, and conceptual questions were about 10%. But after they started the exams online, they could put as many as photos possible. So now the trend has been changed. Now you should understand the simple recall questions were cut down from 90 to 60%. So 50 or 60, I'm going for the higher percentage. This is the 60%. So what is the next one? The very important section or the very important type of MCQ. This is called as problem solving or conceptual question. There are 3 types of conceptual question. First is called as statement or task based, which means they are going to give a statement and they are going to ask what of the following is correct or what is wrong. They are going to give a task and they are going to choose what is the appropriate diagnosis or what is the appropriate treatment. So this is the first type. And the second type is called compare and contrast. They can give you 2 lab values and they can ask if the patient is progressing or he is recovering. For example, they can give you about myocardial infarction, CPKMB. And after 3 days, they are showing that CPKMB is increasing. So they can ask, like, is it reinfarction or it's like the first infarction is actually like repairing. So they can ask such kind of question, compare and contrast. The last very important type of question here is case-based question. They can give you a full case or partial case. After that, they can ask you a direct question or indirect question. They can give you a case and ask what is the diagnosis. Or they can give you such a case and they can ask what is the next step of management, which means first of all, you should understand what is the case, what is the primary diagnosis, and what will be the treatment. So there are 3 types of problem solving. So keep it in mind, after 2010, the Ministry of Health in India and National Board of Examination thought that giving exams or MCQs merely from facts is not very important, because the doctors who are passing and starting to practice should have this critical thinking and clinical analysis. So they should be able to implement their knowledge into clinical and practical setup. That's why they started increasing this problem solving or conceptual question. Right now, in the current trend, this is about 30%. Last one is very important too. It is image-based question. They can give a gross image photo. They can give you a photomicrograph. It can be histology, it can be pathology, it can be microbiology. Yes, so they can give you X-ray, they can give you a graph. From this point, they can ask you a direct question or they can ask you indirect question, like I explained in case. So before 2010, these questions were negligible. But after 2010, they started increasing And right now in the new trend, they have about 10%. So technically about 30 questions per attempt right now in the latest trend is coming from image-based questions. I'm not going to explain about the Pirates question right now. This is not so applicable because it's little in a dilemma right now. So keep it in mind. I'm recalling, I'm summarizing. Keep it in mind. There are 3 types of MCQs. First type is called fact-based or simple recall. This is the most common type of MCQs so far in FMGE. So it is about 60%. Second part is problem solving or conceptual type of MCQs. They are about 30%. And the last is image-based MCQs, and they cover about 10%. And you know, in the press release of next exam, they already informed that they want to increase the conceptual as well as the image-based question to 80 or 90%. This is similar to the USMLE or Canadian exam or CLAB. They ask mainly conceptual question. If you check the USMLE papers, 90% of the questions are conceptual, merely 10% comes from the fact-based. The reason behind this is that they need doctors with critical thinking and problem-solving approach. So they should give such type of questions in order to increase the proficiency of the doctors. So according to the National Board of Examination, the press release what they released before 2 months, they stated that they are going to increase the percentage of conceptual and image-based question to 90% after 2 years, once the next exam will be implemented. So you should be aware. This is about pattern. This is what I'm talking about your opponent. Who is your opponent? FMGE. So FMGE should be analyzed properly. What is the pattern? Did you know about this pattern before? Did anyone explain? Probably some of them, but I'm just giving the insight. What is the pattern? What is the format? What is the time management and everything? I'm just going to the next slide. Okay, what is our smart formula class? I'm just giving you a little bit about this smart formula class. This is a very special and customized class. We don't take too many students. Each class and each batch will be constituting only of about 50 students, not more than 50. So why it is so important? Because we are giving individual attention. If we have more than 60 students, it is practically very difficult to give the individual attention. That's why we are keeping the numbers below 50. Okay, the classes will be very compact. We are going to explain you how to study. We are going to teach you how to study first. We are going to analyze you, and based on the analytics, we are going to customize a very unique and individual study plan. We will tell you which type of study material and study aids you will be choosing. And we will be giving you a general plan and theme for teaching, revision, and test. And we are going to run some kind of special analytics throughout the course, which is called as progress analyzer or enhancer, to understand whether you are progressing or not in order to counsel you. So we keep on counseling you to change the strategy and to increase your efficiency to pass the FMGE with least effort. That's why we have a special plan. We have some tricks and strategies. That's why it's possible to crack FMGE in 60 days. So if you are planning for August or September session, we have some kind of secrets that will be shared in this group, and we make sure that you are cracking this exam within 2 months of time. Okay, this is the teaching methodology. I already explained certain things. So the first part is analytics. So once the student is coming to us, we are not asking them to join straight. We are going to go through our DaVinci Analytics, which is an online tool based on artificial intelligence. After getting the analytics, we check the initial graph and we start counseling the student. What is the deficiency? What are their strengths? What is the learning style? What are their weaknesses? Everything will be explained there. Based on the analytics, then we will be customizing a study plan. After that, we provide a very handy study material, which is only pertinent to FMGE. We don't give PGME study material, which is not necessary now. Because this is not a scoring exam, you should understand. This is not a scoring exam. This is not a competitive exam. This you have to just pass to be qualified. This is a qualifying exam. You get 150 marks, you pass. So we should be working smarter than harder. So the next one, we are going to give online interactive streaming classes. After that, we will be giving you a perfect strategy for revision. Keep it in mind, once you are studying, minimum 3 revisions are necessary in order to recall the facts. Because once you are studying anything, usually the facts you studied will be etched in your brain from your short-term memory to long-term memory. It takes time. And once you are repeating several times, there will be the process of consolidation, and the memory which is stored in your short term will be pushed into the long term memory. It will be etched in your brain. It stays for quite a long time. So we prescribe a special type of strategy where you will be revising at least 5 times. We are giving sequential tests and we analyze your progress. We have the initial graph from the analytics, and I'm checking you with each and every sequential test. Then with the progress enhancer, I understand, are you progressing from the initial graph, or still you're standing, or you are regressing? Depending on this progress analyzer, then I'm going to counsel you and I'm going to change the strategy of study. And to make sure you're adapting and you're grasping, you're performing to make sure that you pass in first attempt. Is it clear? Okay. So how do we work in these 60 days? If you ask me, we have a special plan here. So as you know that there are 18 to 19 subjects if you include dermatology and psychiatry. You have 19 medically important subjects in FMG. And all these 19 subjects will be asked, but the distribution is quite different. They are uneven. You know that from these 19 subjects, you are going to get about 300 questions. But keep it in mind, if you see all these 10 subjects, these are going to give about 240 score. So keep it in mind again, about 240 MCQs are going to come from 10 subjects, and only remaining about 60 MCQs will be coming from 9 subjects. So how we are planning our teaching session, so keep it in mind once again. Yes, you understand whatever. Yeah. Is it audible? If you have problem in hearing, then you can just message. Or if I speak faster, or if you don't understand some terms, you can message. Okay, let me go. So these 10 subjects are high yield subjects. So what are the criteria for understanding what is high yield subject? So first of all, it is about the weightage. Keep it in mind, these subjects are going to give enough number of questions in your FMG. For example, think about PSM. PSM 30 plus question will be coming. Internal medicine, 30 plus question. Surgery, 30 plus question. Yes? So if you think about next criterion, this is going to be the degree of relationship. It is very important. You cannot miss out these 4 subjects because they are interrelated. So I'm just marking them cryptically by B, P, and P. So B is biochemistry, P is pathology, M is microbiology, and P is pharmacology. Why they are interrelated? Keep it in mind, I'll start with biochemistry. Biochemistry is a basic science. You get questions up to 20 or 25 per attempt. But biochemistry would be the basis for many other subjects. If you think about lab analysis, if you think about part of pathology, if you think about pediatrics, where you will be dealing about enzyme deficiencies, technically the question might be looking like pediatrics, but the basics and the understanding should come from biochemistry in order to answer the question. So you cannot omit biochemistry. Of course, it is high yield. There are a lot of questions, but also they are interrelated. Next one is pathology. Of course, you know pathology is a very vast subject, but one thing is to be emphasized here, pathology is medicine. Pathology means it's going to come everywhere. They're going to ask questions in surgery. They're going to ask about abscess in internal medicine. They might ask about, like, I don't know, about some kind of cancers in OBG or ophthalmology or ENT. Where's the basic in pathology? Microbiology, no need to explain. Microbiology is part of PSM too. Do you understand? What to do for the best question? I will explain you about the best question bank. So let me go and like finish this, then I will explain you about the best question bank. Yes. So let's go into detail. What is the next one? Quantity of the information. This is about a little tricky, but keep it in mind. From surgery, you are getting about 33 questions or 35 questions. Yeah, guys, important topics about important question bank, best question bank. You see, I won't be able to explain everything in 1 hour. So I will be explaining you this about important topics and important questions in the coming webinar, because this is beyond the scope. I will explain you, but right now, let me finish this part. We'll finish it soon. Okay? Of course, I'm going to tell you the secrets about important or high yield subject, high yield topics and everything. Don't worry. Okay, so the next thing is quantity of information. Now you think about anatomy. Anatomy includes gross anatomy, it includes histology, embryology, surface anatomy, and genetics in India. And if you think about, if you want to read all these subjects in detail, probably it will be about 300 to 400 pages of study material in many of the coaching centers. And if you compare surgery, it will be also same 300 or 400 pages of study material. Now you compare about the weightage. Anatomy 400 pages but 13-15 questions. Surgery 300 pages but 35 questions. So you should choose which subject. Obviously it's going to be surgery. And the last thing about complexity. For example, I can give an example with the same subject, anatomy and surgery. Anatomy is very complex, even though I am an anatomist. I should not tell this, but this is the reality. This is the fact. Is it clear? So keep it in mind. Our strategy in this 60 days program, we are going to target only 10 subjects. So technically, these 10 subjects we are going to teach. We are going to give 5 revisions, and we are targeting 240 marks. And if I make sure your efficiency is 75%, so let's say I'm keeping your efficiency until the exam as 75%. So you are targeting 240, so you will be scoring about 180. So we make sure that you pass. This is the target. Okay, about study material. So what kind of study material we give? What is the specialty about this study material? So now you can see, we provide a special study material, we call it as golden standard. So this golden standard study material is available in PDF format in our app. You can download them, and we made this material in a very special format. This format is called as kernel format. Kernel format is the best way of taking notes. This is the best way for revision and also for marking and highlighting the important topics. So you can see over here, we divided the page into 2 sections. One part is a bigger section where we are giving structured study material in point form. These study materials are only pertinent to FMG. We are not giving extra. And once the teacher is explaining, the faculty is going to explain what are the most important parts, what are the high yield topics, what are the low yield topics, what you should remember, what is the latest pattern, what things are changing, so you can mark everything over here. If the teacher is providing something extra, you have space to explain, to write too. So after completing this material, we want to customize this material. So we want you to customize the material to be yours. Because once you customize this material according to your wish, then it becomes your study material than the EMS study. So you will be highlighting the important points with different colors that I will be explaining later on in another one webinar. How to use this kernel system, how to revise, what is the best way, we call it modified Feynman technique. I will explain about all this later. Right now I'm just showing you. In one column you can see we have a shorter column, or like narrow column, after completing your initial reading and highlighting, you are going to draw the most important key points in this note section. So now you already customize. Once you are going for the revision, you already know exactly which point is available at which level. And as you already customize this, you feel that this is your material. And you should understand customizing is very important because you get an individual touch that this is not a foreign material, this is your material. This makes you to study faster, study better and efficiently. This is what we are doing. So we also give a special image bank. This image bank is actually a customized one. We check the latest pattern and we are providing the highly anticipated images with the captions. They are very important because once you go through this and once you read the captions and you can implement your theoretical knowledge and you can crack the image-based questions. As you know, again, 10% of total FMGE will be consisting of image-based questions. So you should be clear with the most anticipated images. Okay. Okay, let me go to the next one. About revision. Okay. Our revision is technically based on the QRS book, or we call it Quick Review Series for FMG and Next. This is a very high-yield book. From this book, about 160 questions came in 2019 December FMG. And students who effectively utilize this, they passed FMG in one go with least effort. And our revision plans are perfectly strategized on QRS. So once you are joining our institute for this special course, we are also going to provide this QRS, yes? And keep it in mind, all the lectures what we are providing, the online interactive lectures and revisions will be recorded and they will be provided to you in the app. So you can use anytime, 24/7, whenever you want. You have doubt, you can rewind and watch whatever is taught here. Okay, what about practicing exam? I want to just show you something from educational psychology point of view. So keep it in mind, I already explained you about one thing. What is this? This is called as illusion of competence. So once you read, once you study, once you watch, your brain will be tricking you to think that you grasp, you understand, you etched everything you studied in your brain, but this is a pseudo or false feeling. There are knowledge gaps. You are unable to find this gap unless you find an effective way of coping up. So this is a special way of finding the knowledge gaps. What is this? Doing the practice test or active discussion. Right? Let's say that we don't have enough students to discuss. The best way we have is practicing tests. For example, you finish one chapter, you go and do the chapter-wise exam. After doing the chapter-wise exam, you understand, okay, I made mistakes in this point. Even though I read it, I'm unable to recall it. I'm unable to remember. So once you practice tests, they are going to help you with certain things. This will show your competency. This will help you to manage your time, because if you are sitting for the exam for the first time, it is quite difficult for you to manage the time. For MCQs as a whole too. So once you start working in the test, you will be starting to manage the time. If you are doing maximum number of tests, you will become a specialist in managing the time. Next one, keep it in mind, once you are giving the exam for the first time, your accuracy will be lower, your confidence might be lower, and your anxiety is very high. And again, I just want to emphasize this point that many students are failing because of anxiety. I just want to say you some kind of statistics. 80% of the students who fail are due to lack of revision. 75% of the students who fail are due to lack of practice tests, and about 90% of the students who are failing, they have some sort of anxiety. Out of that, 60 would be having severe anxiety, which means they didn't flunk because they don't know. They have enough knowledge. Because their anxiety is too severe, and it is starting to shut down their prefrontal cortex. So if you keep practicing exams, whether you pass or fail, you keep practicing, your anxiety will be decreased. Accuracy increases, confidence level increases, time management will be more finer. And keep it in mind, in educational psychology, this is called as desensitization therapy. We call it desensitization therapy. So doing tests will be desensitizing from your anxiety, which is very important. Okay, there are various tests in our app. We provide chapter-wise, topic-wise, we give subject-wise, module mocks, mini mocks, and mocks. There are more than 75,000 questions in 240 tests. This is strategically given to you in time. We will be giving a plan, we will be giving you a lecture, we will be giving you a revision plan, and we will be asking you to do the appropriate test. For example, if you are studying biochemistry, let's say today the teacher is completing 2 chapters. So we will push you to read, we will give you the plan to revise, and within 24 hours you are going to go and do the chapter-wise test for those appropriate chapters before coming to next day class. So now you understood what you studied, what you revised. Once you sat in the exam, you understand what you are lagging. What is the gap? What is the knowledge gap? You fill it up. Okay. Next one is individual performance, which I already explained you. We will be analyzing your performance. Now, for example, I'll show you in the analytics, we get the basic graph, and we understand where you stand. What is your knowledge, current knowledge level in subject? What is your skill level? What is your learning style? What is your time management? What is your anxiety level? We counsel you. After that, we give you an individual plan. After that, we are going to ask you to do the sequential test. Through these sequential tests, we are going to analyze your progress. I'll give you an example. Student X gave analytics, and we understood in biochemistry his knowledge is 20%. So once we are teaching him and we are asking him to do the sequential test, we expect that his knowledge should be up to 75%. Once he is giving the test, if he is unable to achieve this 75%, we will find it through the progress enhancer. We will counsel him. We will reconsider the strategy. We will change it and we will adapt it according to increases efficiency. This is how we are making our students score 200 plus marks. This is not rocket science. This is educational psychology. Okay, so faculties. Many students ask me always, sir, that more than 80% of the faculties are teaching almost everywhere. Is it true? Of course it is true. We have 20% of faculties in DMA, they are unique for DMA, they don't teach anywhere else, but 80% of the people are teaching everywhere else. Then the next question arises is, if they are teaching everywhere else, then why DMA is unique, or why our course is unique? It's very simple to answer. The faculties might be same everywhere else, but what do they deliver and how do they deliver is very unique in DMA. Our course is student-centric. We analyze the student, we understand the deficiency, we try to fill up the gaps, we make sure he is having 75% of efficiency. We are targeting 240 marks, so he is going to score at least 180 marks. We make sure they pass with the least effort. No need to study so hard. No need to study for 15 hours per day. No need to study multiple material. We show you the secret. We show you the pathway. We teach you how to learn. You understand what is your deficiency, so you can correct it. This is the technique. But it takes time because we are going to work with you. We have specialists from psychological field. We have specialists from academic field. We have a team of 40 people, and we will be discussing, we will be counseling you, and we make sure you pass FMG in very first attempt with the least effort. This is our idea. Okay. So as a summary, I'm just summarizing over here. So you should know that there are 2 keys that determine whether you pass or fail in FMG. So we have psychological and learning profile, which I already explained to you. Yes, psychological profile, learning style, and anxiety level. Next one, knowledge. It can be subject knowledge and knowledge about the FMGE and your examination skill. If you know where you are deficient at, where you have the gaps, you try to fill it, then it will be very easy to pass. Keep it in mind. This is very important. No one is teaching you how to learn. We are just teaching you how to learn. Learn how to learn is our slogan. If you learn how to learn, then there's no problem. You will know what is the problem. It's exactly about about repairing the car. If you know about the mechanics of the car or motorbike, once it is not starting, or if you have starting problem, if you know the mechanism, it's very easy for you to understand where the issue in the car or in the motorbike. The same story over here. If you don't know about yourself, if you don't know about your opponent, if you don't know what is happening and what you are doing, whatever deficiencies you have will be always persisting. And whoever wants to help you, if they don't teach you how to understand what is the problem, then you will never know what is your deficiency. You will never replenish this. Once you don't replenish, you will always have this gap. It's exactly like, you are going to gym and you want to develop your body. And you're working on, let's say, your biceps. You want to develop biceps. And you're doing exercise like, let's say, 4 hours per day. If it is not correct one, make sure that you are not going to develop your biceps. So who is needed over here? There's going to be a supervisor. There's going to be a gym guy who is a supervisor, who is a trainer. He is going to show you what is the mistake you are making once you are doing the dumbbell. How it should be done, which is the correct way. If you do it in a correct way, then you are going to develop your biceps. But if you don't know what mistakes you are making, if the trainer is not available for 1 week, you are going to repeatedly make this mistake and you're going to screw this biceps. Same story is applicable here. Know what are the mistakes, know where you're making mistakes, know where you stand. If you know, it will be very simple for you to crack this exam. We teach how to learn first. So learn how to learn. After that, we will be counseling you and giving you all aids needed. That will be very easy to pass. Okay. The last slide I just want to show you. I'm developing one of the biggest information platform. This is called dmaedu.com. This is a website where we are going to post all the very important information and all the webinars and the video session. Probably we won't give you all in webinars. There will be recorded video sessions where we will be explaining all the secrets how to pass FMGE. I will bring my students who already scored 200 marks. I will bring my students who already scored high and got seats in NEET, JIPMER, and AIMS. We will be discussing a lot of secrets over here. So you can just check our website. And we are going to launch this website by next week. You get enormous amount of information. We give you all the guidelines how to improve. We are not just going to give you some vague material saying that, okay, this is FMGE, you are like failing, come to my institute. I'm not just going to tell this. I'm just going to give you the information. We are going to provide you and furnish you with all the necessary information. We are going to give you video lectures, but keep it in mind, you need a supervisor who knows what exactly happening to you and what is the problem, what deficiencies you have. If you don't have a performance analyzer, if you don't have some kind of supervisors who will be looking into you, then you tend to make a lot of mistakes. That's why I just recommend you should join our smart class. Step in, you will feel the difference. You can talk to my student. So you can see the slogan which is written over here. Do not give them a candle to light the way. Teach them how to make the fire instead. This is the real meaning of enlightenment. If you go anywhere, they will give you study material. They will ask you, okay, read, you can just pass. Nobody is going to show you how to study, how to revise, how to find out what are your mistakes and how to fill up these gaps. Our first and foremost learning tool is teaching you how to learn. This is the very important part. So you can see a program, 60 days program. We are providing a proper teaching plan. We are analyzing you, we are counseling you, study plan and revision plan. 60 days. We are starting by 1st of June and by 7th of June. And I just want to tell you guys, probably there are about 30-40 people here. What is my offer over here? Whoever joined this webinar, I will provide you analytics in one subject for free. So I will analyze your psychological profile, I'll analyze your learning styles, I'll analyze whatever I showed you, including discrimination skill, anxiety, and one subject. This is going to be biochemistry. After analyzing, we are going to counsel you, then we will give you a study plan. Then I'm going to provide you one set of free classes. We are going to teach you the full biochemistry according to our study plan. You will follow our study plan and you are going to do the test accordingly, and we are going to check your progress. And you feel and you understand, and your perception will be changing what exactly we are doing compared to others. So I'm not targeting anyone else. We are unique. We are working with educational psychologists. We have a lot of specialists. We have vast experience teaching in foreign medical universities to international students, including Indian students. I have been teaching for more than 10 years in foreign universities. So we know psychology. So we know what is your deficiency. So we want to improve where you are lagging at. So give a try. So whoever joined here, please message us in our Telegram group. So we will collect your number and I will start contacting you. I'll start communicating with you and I'll provide you a free analytics for you. And once you complete this, I'll give a free study plan and we are going to run a free class by this weekend. After completing the class, you're going to do the test. Then I'll show you the performance enhancer and I'll tell you whether you're progressing or no, how you have to improve. After going through this way, you tell me how it works. So this is the best way how we are making our students to score 200 plus and to score in NEET. No rocket science. This is educational psychology. Okay, so you can see the last slide. So you can go and check our landing page, which is given over here. So after completing this, I will be also posting our Telegram group, which is exclusive for Smart Class and to help students with FMG August 2020. And thank you for listening. And I hope the information I provide would be helpful to you. And many of the secrets I shared from my experience, I hope they are also very useful for you. And when I explained to you about the fundamentals and the mistakes students are making, that will disable them not to pass, or the key reasons of dropping academic failure, you should understand. You should try to fit your legs into these shoes because this is about you. You can realize and understand this is exactly what happened when you went to foreign universities. We are there to help you. We are always available. We are at proximity. Contact us. We are there to help you, and we make sure that you pass this FMG with the least effort. So you can write anything in the comment section. I can check and I can answer. If you didn't understand, so I'm finishing over here. Yes, you can visit our website. You can visit our landing page. You can contact us. We are there to help you. Okay, there are two students. One guy asked, Saurav Singh, he asked that, what is the best question bank? I'll be explaining about the question bank probably in the group because we don't have enough time. It's already 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I guess. Okay, 8:30. So I plan to run this webinar for about 40 to 45 minutes, but it's almost double. It's about 1.5 hours now. So I'll explain about most important chapters and topics in the next webinar, and also about what is the most high yield question bank and how to approach this question bank. You have any doubts, you can ask. And please give me a feedback. You can give your feedback here. You can also give feedback in our Telegram group. Just tell me if this webinar was helpful to you. The pattern of FMG, the learning tricks, illusion of competency, desensitization therapy by exams, Okay, somebody is asking where to buy QRS. The book, actually, you should know that Amazon services are suspended now, and our new edition, the third edition, is coming by end of this month. So we are putting the new edition of QRS in Kindle version. So even if Amazon service is suspended, you can avail this QRS book in online format. And once the book is published, we are going to give the link where you can avail this Kindle format of QRS. So just 2 weeks, we will be publishing this. Any other questions? You can provide your feedbacks, yes, if you have any questions. So we are planning to put webinars. If not webinars, then we will be recording. Yeah. Question. Okay. Saurav Singh is asking the question, would be enough in QRS? The QRS is not question book. This is a book packed with all the facts necessary, all the image base, or like you can say the images necessary, or anticipated images, all high yield cases. So technically, if you see that at least 160 questions can be expected from this book. This is not exactly an MCQ book. So you can check in the Amazon, you can check also the feedback, you can ask people who are already using the book, because I'm also the editor and we are publishing the book. So you might think that I might be biased. So I want you to ask students who are like using the book. I'm not lying to you. I'm already posting all the questions appeared from this book. We have Telegram group, we have WhatsApp group too. So we can provide the link for WhatsApp group in YouTube below here. You can join. Yes, you can join. We have a special group. So whoever is interested in joining the free Analytica, you can join in our Telegram group and you can communicate further. Then we will provide you Analytica. And also I'll give you a free class in biochemistry. Then you can experience what's the difference. And also from this week, there will be short videos on all the secrets of FMG. So we are going to explain about FMG. We are going to explain about pattern, new pattern, latest trend, how to approach FMG MCQs, how to manage the time. Everything will be coming together with the text in our website. So once we are just talking, probably some people, like, they forget or they don't understand. So we are going to provide the text and also reference you can find in the new website, which will be launched by next week. So this is to just help you. This is a free website. Information platform, yes. Okay, please join our Telegram group. So because we won't be able to know who is going to join here. So I'll provide the Telegram group in the comment section. then you can join the Telegram group and message there. We will start gathering the students for the free analytica. Any other questions? Yeah, for sure. Next time I'm going to show you high yield chapters, high yield topics. Yes, and what percentage of questions are coming from each chapters I'll show you. These are from our analytics. Yes, our experts are analyzing and they're putting probably like, the student who asked me like, about the important topics. He didn't watch or probably he like disliked and went away. So don't worry. It's fine. Next time I'm going to tell you. So no need to be disappointed. Just we are going to help you. Okay, guys. Then thank you for joining, and I hope all the information I gave would be helping you in your coming exam. And I am expecting you to contact us in our Telegram group and in the smart class. Thank you.